Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Everybody muted? You can talk now?
Yeah, everything's muted except you.
Okay. Here's the skinny on it.
Are you the one who was asking me the question?
Yes, sir. That was me. John,
Okay.
Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, Ed, I couldn't get on.
You could. Well, okay.
No, I couldn't.
I had trouble.
It said the phone. I'm sorry about that. It said the phone number is disconnected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it said it was
get
disconnected. Well,
Okay.
I called it about 20 times and I finally got on, and I'm sorry about that.
It took me 4 times to get on.
Okay.
I got a guy here with a question. So go ahead and ask Kerry your question.
Yes, I'm ready for you now.
Okay, this is John, Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, my problem is I've sent letter after letter up there to Washington, to that old gal up there, and I can't get an answer. They won't respond. I'm actually sending 3 of them at the same time. I do a self-addressed envelope, and it's like nothing happened. I know that they have a lot of people up there, but is there a way to shortchange this? Is it possible to do a letter of acquiescence? If they don't answer in 21 days, they'll default.
Okay, now the letter you're trying to do is what letter?
It's a basic letter, like a 2-sentence, use the IRS have jurisdiction, just a small, just
Oh, you're trying to,
deal.
Are you talking about the United States District Court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, they won't answer you. They stopped answering. But they answered me. What I would do is go on their website. There's an email address. Just start emailing them. So they will email you back.
Okay, I've done that. They have not emailed me back.
Okay, go on their website, and there's, Ed, I think I sent it to you. It says what we have jurisdiction on. And they give you what their jurisdiction is. See, they won't answer us anymore.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, if you're interested. I got a phone call 2 nights ago. Not last night, the night before last, from a federal judge. And the federal judge says to me, he said, there's somebody in Texas telling people to go to the tax court, getting a motion, an order pissing us off. It is really upsetting us. He says it's got the IRS completely shut down. And so I
we're missing part of the conversation. You're unfortunately fading out.
You're cutting out.
You're fading out.
Let me see. Okay, let me figure out why. Let me look at my phone. It says I got. Okay, I'll stay right here. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stay right here. I was moving around a little. Anyway, he said that the federal judge said that the IRS is they're just really upset because they don't know how to handle this yet. They're working on it, and that's why they're doing what they're doing.
Could you repeat the issue? We actually didn't hear, or I didn't hear it.
Yeah, a federal judge called me. A guy that I know knows him. So he's been telling me what I'm doing. So he called me to tell me that there's a guy in Texas that's telling people how to go to the tax court, get a motion for dismissal for lack of jurisdiction, and then use that. And it's completely frustrating the IRS because they're getting hundreds of thousands of them. I said, well, that's good. He said, it's not good when you rely upon the money they take to pay you. So, anyways, we're moving forward.
I'm glad it didn't break your heart.
It did. I cried all night.
Well, Kerry?
Yes.
What's your...
Kerry, should we all take a moment here and shed a tear for the IRS?
Yeah. let's tell them we're so sorry. We're so sorry. But the problem they're having is what we're doing is
Oh, we've lost you again.
Yeah, no, I'm here. What's happening is we're helping. We're using the law is what we're using. We're not using theories. Did anybody see in the I got an email yesterday. Does anybody know Winston Shroud?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I guess the way I understand it, they sentenced him for 10 years.
For what?
Really?
Yeah. If you go online, just type in Winston Shroud. It'll tell you there. I don't know why. I just know I don't know him. I know of him. And so they're bowing their back again. They're going to start being ugly again. But it doesn't matter because what we're doing is not living. A lady called me yesterday.
Lost you again.
Okay. Yesterday, and the IRS has taken 15% of her Social Security, and they're taking 15% of her husband's. They released hers, and she got her check, the full check for the first time in 4 years. Now, we're repeating it again. I suspect her husband will get his next month. So we're still pushing as hard as we can against them, and it's got some really good outcome. The problem we're having, they're coming back with saying that you have to pay the $60. And so we're working on I got a plan on. I've been working on something on that, and I'll try to get it to you here, Ed, in the next day or so.
Okay.
For yours, so you can look at it.
Yeah.
But we're doing everything we can, and we're still frustrating.
You're gone again.
Can you hear me, Ed?
Yeah, I do now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I put it on speakerphone. Okay, I had it on. I'll put it on speakerphone. I had it up to my mouth, but apparently it's not working as good. How's that? Right. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll leave it on speakerphone. But are you? Does anybody having any successes that they can share with us?
I'm sorry to jump in here, but I'm super new to this whole thing, and I thought we were going to have a little bit of an informational call. So I don't know if there's any way to step back and talk through things, or if I'm on the wrong call.
No, what do you want to know? When you say step back, you want to know how?
I got an email today from a colleague, a friend of mine, that said, hey, because I called him to tell him about an issue that I'm having with a new garnishment that just happened. He's like, okay, well, there's a call you have to be on tonight. And I'm like, super. So he sent me the information, and I downloaded it and read things. But that's what I know, which is unfortunately not much. So I apologize for being late to the game here, but I just don't understand.
Okay, what we've put together was what you do is you go to the United States Tax Court, go to Forms and Instructions, and download their own form. You fill it out.
Form 2.
Say that again?
Form 2.
Yes. You download Form 2, and you fill it out. I think we have a John Doe. And you fill it out and you mail it in. They're going to come back and tell you to pay the $60, but you don't pay the $60. And the reason you don't, there's two sides of the IRS. There's an administrative side, and there's a legal side. The problem is, if the administrative side says you owe $1 million, If you pay the $60, the court will shut you off until you pay the $1 million. So then the court will give you, not the court, the IRS will tell them they don't have jurisdiction. They give you a court order, and it explains why they don't have it. Are you in front of a computer right now?
Yeah, I'm actually taking notes, so I am on my computer.
Okay. Are you? Well, I don't know if you. I don't want to spell my name on the air because I'm having enough problems.
I totally understand that. Is it in the email? Do you think? Is it embedded in the email that I had?
It might be, but you can go online and you can see. You can go online and go to docket inquiry and put it in there, and by doing that, you'll see what's happening. See, the IRS monitors these calls because for those of you that heard me before, line 22 of the 1040, that's your total income's not in the booklet. It is now. It is in the booklet. Okay? So if you download a 2018 instructions, it's there. But they cripple themselves because of their explanation of it. If you look at it, it doesn't make any sense at all. And what we argue all the time is jurisdiction.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Because if they don't have jurisdiction, they don't have anything. Now, I've been talking to several people this week. Now, I just want to make sure everybody understands this. If you go to the court, how do you give them jurisdiction? Do you mind answering that?
Let's see. So I don't have a super good answer for that. I have a few guesses, and I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that.
Go ahead. That's okay. It'll be informational. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, if you agree to anything, you've given them jurisdiction. Sometimes if you even answer a question, you've given them jurisdiction. So there's lots of ways that you can.
Now that you said that, I'm going to ask you a scenario. You want to get a divorce, so you go to the federal district court, and the judge gives you everything, the house, the animals. Your husband has to pay you $1,000 a month, and you get both cars. He signs the decree. Tell me what you got.
I honestly don't know. I have a document, but it's probably, I don't know.
It's nothing,
I really don't.
because federal district court has no jurisdiction in divorce. You'd have to go to the family court in your state. Now, you go back to that court and say, well, I give it to you. Your husband says, I give it to you. You write an affidavit, signing the affidavit, getting it, Getting it notarized. Give it to the judge. Now what does he have? Now what do you have? Nothing. Because if the court doesn't have it, the court can't get it. Period.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason they don't have it is our Bill of Rights says we have unalienable rights. What does the IRS do? They lien your rights. Therefore, they can never have personal jurisdiction. They can't have it. If we know. If you get an attorney, the attorney will fix the paper up and make you think they have it. See?
Yep.
But they don't have it.
Okay. Makes good sense. And so basically what you're saying is I just have to do this form number 2, and it sounds like that's obvious which form number 2 is.
That's right. Now, let me ask you a question. I want to show you how this works. Are you married?
No. I am, but not legally.
But that's okay. I don't care. If you were married and I went to a garage sale and I bought your marriage license, who would you be married to? Who would you be married to?
Well, I'd still be married to the same person, but that person now owns the document.
Okay, I have your documents. I've got them. I own them. I paid for them. I have a receipt. Who would you be married to?
State.
Whoever you say, I guess. I don't know.
No, of course not. See, it's not the paperwork. In other words, if I trick you into it, good for me, bad for you. That's what they're doing. What we're trying to do here is show you
how they trick you.
We're trying to show you that they have to have jurisdiction. They can't. The reason they can't, our system is based on a voluntary compliance. Okay, there's two parts of the IRS. There's administrative and there's enforcement. Enforcement, okay, administrative is 0000 through 6999. That's administrative. 7,000 all the way to the end is all enforcement. So if you get in trouble for willful failure to file, not filing tax returns, it's going to be 7306, 7607, 7313. That's all under the enforcement. Now, if you go to Title 26, 7608, does anybody have a computer? Would they look that up and read that to us? I don't want to tell you what it says until you read it.
Okay, so Title 26, 7608. I can do
7608. Now remember, there's an enforcement side, and they're the ones that enforce they're the ones that enforce the IRS. If willful failure to file, that's the CID agents.
Yep. Which part of this do you want me to read?
All of it. It's just real short.
It's pretty long. I might not be looking at the right thing. It talks about authority of Internal Revenue Enforcement Officers. Is that the part you're talking about?
Stop right there. Okay. So it says the jurisdiction, that's my wording, of the enforcement officer. In other words, for them to enforce, they're an enforcement officer. Read what it says.
Enforcement of Subtitle E and other laws pertaining to liquor, tobacco, and firearms. Of course. Yeah, we're back to
right
alcohol,
there.
Tobacco, and firearms. Yep, I get it.
See? So print that out. If they talk to you, you ask them, are you an A or an E? Now, the pocket commission will tell you that. A pocket commission is that thing they pull out of their pockets. They flip it over. It's got their badge in it, got their name, their picture, and then it's going to give you their employee number. And at the end of the employee number, it'll be an A or an E. It used to be on their badge, it had a red background. That was an enforced. That was in the A.
Administrative.
That was the administrative. The E's were green, so their badge would have the name, but it would have a green background. I don't know if that's true anymore. So once they establish who they are, then you hand them that, because the only way they can enforce anything is enforcement.
Which is about alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Okay, but if you don't do alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, how do they enforce it? See?
Right, that's my hope. That's right. Yep.
Right. So willful failure to file is you didn't file a tax return for your alcohol, tobacco, and firearm. It has nothing to do with the 1040. Now, here's how I know that. Al Capone, they couldn't get him, so they got him, and here's what they're saying. They got him for tax evasion, income tax evasion. That's not true. They got him for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. The enforcement, it works so good, they're using the same thing on us. Every time you say something, that's frivolous. And how can it be frivolous when they're frivolous? So we have to argue the proper thing. Now, I'm going to ask you another question. Do you mind?
Nope, I don't mind at all.
Okay. Are you a taxpayer?
No.
Okay. Golly, I wish have you emailed me anything?
I'm sorry, I have not, because literally I got this email 2 hours ago.
Okay. That's okay. I don't want to ask you what your email address is, but I got a 2358C letter, and it starts out like this: Dear taxpayer, using your okay, we agree with you. You are not legally required to file a tax return. Would you like one of those?
Yeah.
You can't get it. See,
right, okay.
It's impossible for you to get it. Why is that?
Well, because I'm not a taxpayer.
See? Because they can't talk to nobody but taxpayers. See?
Right.
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video. And don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. Here's the front page of the channel. The bottom arrow is pointing at the subscribe button that's normally red until you click on it, and this one turns white after you subscribe. And the right one is the arrow. The top arrow is pointing to the bell. Now, the bell doesn't show up until after you click the subscribe button, and then the bell will show up. And that way you can be notified of new uploads.
Yeah. What's interesting is a long, long time ago when I requested my IMF, I'm going to say it was back in the early 90s, I got it, and it had parts of it were redacted, and it said, we have to redact, it's not exactly like this, but we have to redact certain parts of this because if we did, it would basically cause us problems with enforcing the IRS code or whatever it was. I unfortunately don't have that document anymore. It's been, lost throughout the years. And the last time I asked for my IMF, they wouldn't send it to me. So, anyway.
Well, here's the issue. You have to know who you are. Okay, you're a taxpayer. And the reason you're a taxpayer, when you talk to the IRS, they're a taxing authority. How do they talk How do they talk to somebody who's not a taxpayer?
Well, they can't.
Then everything that you write to them is frugal. So what we have done, we go to the tax court. The tax court then tells us, it's not the tax court, the IRS says we don't have jurisdiction because we didn't give them a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination. In order for them to give you a lien or a levy, they have to do a 23C. That's basically an affidavit that the IRS agent signs, then the judge signs it, then they give it to you. Now, I want you to think about this. Have you ever gotten a lien or a levy, ever?
Well, I'm assuming the answer is no because of the way you asked the question, but I did just get a garnishment.
I didn't say that. But did you ever? So you can't get a lien or a levy. Here's why. They give you a notice of deficiency, a notice of determination, a notice of lien. Then they monetize the lien, and the notice of lien as a lien. That's a counterfeit security. In other words, they're saying it's a lien, and it's not. I have 10 shares of General Motors stock. I'm going to sell 20. Only 10 of them are good. That means I sold counterfeit securities. Here's my question. If you have a lien, who makes the lien valuable?
My employer?
You.
Oh, me. Okay.
For the lien. Okay, who makes the notice of lien valuable?
Person that did the notice? I'm not sure.
Nobody, because it's a notice. So what they're doing is they're putting out a notice of lien. They're calling it a lien. They're calling the Federal Reserve. They're monetizing it. So they monetize a notice of a lien as a lien. Now, I want you to think about this. You pay for a Lexus and they deliver you a Toyota. That's a counterfeit. That's a counterfeit Lexus. You're paying more money but it's not. It's a Toyota. So that's counterfeit, and that's what they're doing. See? So because of that, we have to stay on the legal side. When you pay the $60, you're on the administrative side.
Puts you on the admin side. Yeah, that makes sense.
See? So what's happening is because you told me you were not a taxpayer. Now I'm going to ask you another question if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I just feel like I'm tripping on all of them. But feel free. I'm happy to embarrass myself.
Okay, well, that's okay. We won't try to do that. Okay, have you ever filled out a 1040 ever in your life?
Many years ago.
Okay, had an overage, and the IRS gave you a refund check. Has that ever happened to you or anybody you know? Ever?
Well, I've received refunds. I mean, it's been
That's not
years.
What listen. Okay. Have you ever filled out your 1040 and there was an overage and the IRS sent you a refund check? Has that ever happened to you?
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean when you say overage. They have sent me refunds because of whatever the bottom line was.
No, they haven't. That's never happened. In other words, if you pay in $10,000 and you owe $5,000, would the IRS give you the $5,000?
I see what you mean.
See, it comes from the Treasury. Now we got a problem. See, in other words, I think different. I'm a nut job. So what's happening is I'm able to think this through. So if they're sending me a notice of levy, a notice of levy, and they take my money, whoever took it's in trouble. What happened to me about 10 years ago? The IRS sent to my bank a notice of levy.
Lien, yeah. Yep.
Or whatever it was. They told the bank to give them my money. I'm a contractor. I got my money up front, half of it, so I could buy the materials. I made a deposit of $65,000. They wanted it. I didn't owe them that much, but they were going to take it to make me file. So what I did is I took they didn't have jurisdiction, lack of jurisdiction from the court, and gave it to my bank. I said, you do whatever you want to do, but you are now going to be held liable because I have a court order. She says, well, we have to do what the IRS says. Well, what did they say? They said to take your money. I want to see it. She says, well, they called us on the phone and said, do whatever you want to do. I sent a notice to the home office. The home office called me on the phone and says, we've decided our attorneys don't know what to do, so we're not going to take it. To this day, they've never taken that account ever again. And the reason for it is I'm going to make the bank liable because I got a court order. It's not about taxes anymore. It's about contempt of court.
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
Now, does the United States District Court have jurisdiction? In other words, if you sue an IRS agent and you sue them in the United States District Court, do they have jurisdiction over the IRS?
I don't think so. I think the answer is no.
That's correct. You're right. They do not. So see, the IRS has isolated themselves, so they do whatever they want to do. We came up with this, and they don't anymore. Because if they do something to you and you have this order, they're now in contempt of court. It isn't about. It's no longer about taxes, whether you file it or not. I don't care whether you file it. You file whatever you want to file. I'm not telling you not to file. I have a court order that says the IRS does not have jurisdiction. In fact, the IRS told me they didn't have it.
And so how do you get this document in your name? I understand the form too, but there was a gentleman earlier on the call that says he's been writing and not getting anything.
Okay,
so I'm not sure.
Okay, he's going to the United States District Court to ask them if they have jurisdiction on the IRS. Well, I bothered them so bad, I called them on the phone. They finally sent me what they do have jurisdiction on. So they listed everything they have jurisdiction on, and the IRS is not listed. So I can only assume since it's not there, they don't have it.
Yeah.
See, now, what happens is, because I think I'm able to put two and two together and create an argument that they can't touch. Now, do you know what an SFR is?
No.
Substitute for return.
I'm sorry, substitute for return. Okay, SFR. Okay.
Right. See, they can't do one for a 1040.
Well,
but see, if you don't do a tax return, there's no assessment. They have to do an SFR. The problem is the reason they do them because the enforcement does it. So what they're saying is, you didn't file, so you owe us. They're doing an SFR. Yeah. They can do it on alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. They can do it, but they can't do it on the 1040.
So that's exactly what they did for me for years and years, but I don't know how to undo it.
Okay. Here's how you undo it. If the court tells you they don't have jurisdiction and the IRS tells you they didn't have jurisdiction, now they got a problem. See, now you've got a different argument. Your argument is no longer, I don't have to file because I'm a non-taxpayer. It doesn't matter if you're a taxpayer or not. If they don't have jurisdiction, they don't have jurisdiction. See, I asked you if you were married. I want you. Can you prove you are?
No, because I'm not. So no,
Yes,
I can't prove it.
Okay, then that's good. Can you prove you're not?
I mean, show me
Yes.
the document that says I am. Yeah.
Well, no, you can prove you're not because you're not. You can't
Yeah.
prove you are because you're not. So
Yeah.
if they don't have jurisdiction, they can't prove anything. That's the problem. That's the game we've brought to them.
Right.
Now, if you go online and download two, I can go over that real quick with you unless you want, or Ed can send you the John Doe. You can get with him, get with him later or something.
I think I probably have the John Doe. The email that I have had several attachments to it, like lots
Yes, that's
of them.
correct. It's 5 pages
Yeah.
total. Form 2, 4, and 5.
Well, I'm just saying there was like several different attachments, but I'm not seeing one that says John Doe, so I don't know.
All right.
And is Ed's email the one that's at att.net?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't think I have your name. In this email, I don't see anything, so I'm not really sure who I'm talking to, but that's fine. I can ask Ed.
Well, it's okay. I'm taking enough of you as it is. If you get with Ed, email him. He'll email you my number, and I don't mind talking to you.
Okay, that might help. And Ed,
But
this is Janae. You and I, you may remember me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is the same Ed from a long time ago.
All right. But see, I just don't want to get – they already know who I am.
Yeah.
Because obviously I got a call from a federal judge, so they obviously know who I am. But where the problem's coming is, okay, let me show you the way I think. All right, you said you're not married, but you have a significant other. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Would she or he be a male or a female?
He is a male.
I don't care. I could care less.
Yes. Yeah.
What is it?
Yes.
So who would it be? It's a male, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, now I want you to follow my story here. Do you know what an extension cord is?
No idea. Never heard that term before.
Okay, you plug it in the wall and then you run it to the other end of the building.
Oh, extension cord. Sorry, I thought you said court.
Yeah, an extension cord. Do you know what that is?
Of course, yes.
Okay, one end has 3 prongs in, one end has 3 prongs out. The side that has 3 prongs out, what is it called?
A plug.
Nope, a male. That's the male end.
Oh, the male end. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So you have just admitted to everybody on the phone that you're married to an extension cord.
To a plug.
See? You see, because not all males. So you see the problem?
Yeah.
And that's
it's
what
definitions.
we're doing.
That's right. I totally get it.
That's correct. When I went to court the first time, they were trying to indict me. I took a glossary page with me. Now, what I did is I defined every word that I was going to need. I defined it in the legal terms, and I handed it to them. And the lady said, the attorney says, we're not going to use this. I said, okay. See, now she asked me a question. I don't know what she's talking about.
Right, because there's no definitions.
See? But now what I did was, but what I did was when they would ask me a question, I would answer it, but I'd only answer it since you're not using those. If you ask me if I'm married and I have married defined, then you can't be talking about that because you said you weren't using it. So now I would have to ask her. Well, I don't understand. Can you define married? Because I don't.
Can you define it for me? Right.
No, because you said you weren't using it. So what it does is it gets them farther and farther and farther and farther away from what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me email Ed and see if we can set up I'm totally hijacking this whole phone call, and I feel bad about that. So maybe I can get with Ed and we can make a separate call.
That's fine. Okay, does anybody else have any questions?
I would like to ask a question to finish up.
Please do.
With this.
Go right ahead.
I appreciate it, Terry. I appreciate it, sir. You're asking about, are you a taxpayer? Well, the real question they ask when you go in there is, are you a U.S. citizen? That's what they hit you over the head with. And that's
Okay,
where the
now
bad
wait a
line
minute.
is drawn.
Okay. Here's the problem. It's not about you. Doesn't matter if
But
you're
they're
a US
asking you
citizen.
that question. They're hitting you over the head with that.
That's
And
fine.
And
Here's what I would do.
Okay. How do you define it? What's the deal? U.S. taxpayer?
Here's what I would do. Okay, I would say I don't know. Would you tell me what a U.S. citizen is? Now they're going to define it, because if you say no, they're going to say, well, the guy thinks he's born somewhere else. If you say yes, you're taking anything they give you. Make them define every single thing. If they were to say, are you a U.S. citizen? I would say, boy, I don't know. I'm not sure what a U.S. citizen is. See?
I get it. I've had them really angry with me, and they pull out 10 court cases. We have 20 court cases that says you are. Why are you playing this game with me? And
I'm not playing a game with you. See, yeah. I would tell them, I'm not playing a game with you. Because what I did is the judge and I got crossways, and I told the judge, I said, excuse me, sir, but here's the deal. I've never met your wife, but I know what she looks like naked. And I sat down. He went off the hinge. See, that's what he's doing. What I try to do is I try to be very cordial with him. Are you a U.S. citizen? I don't know what your definition of a U.S. citizen is. Well, we got court cases here that says you are. Well, then why did you ask me?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, you have to confess to everything. See, I don't depend. Okay, if you ask me a question, you're going to have to break it down to the very, very finest, minute thing. And the reason is, if you don't know what they're saying, you're in trouble. See?
Okay, but you can't be a taxpayer without being a U.S. citizen is basically what they're saying.
No, sir. Okay, then let me ask you a question. If you go to Mexico and buy a gallon of gas, is there a tax on that gas?
I don't know. I haven't been to Mexico.
Surely. Okay, well, then if you're that stupid, I don't know what to tell you. If you buy a candy bar at the store and it's $1, do you pay tax on the candy bar?
I wouldn't know. You'd have
You're
to tell
ignoring me. Okay, see, they don't define it. So I say, absolutely, I'm a taxpayer. It doesn't matter unless they tell me. See, you're confusing income taxes, sales tax, and property tax. Any tax you pay, you're a taxpayer.
Oh, thank you very much. Silly me.
I have to make them define it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, straightforward.
Okay. So, okay. Now, let me show you what I'm trying to say. Are you a taxpayer?
Absolutely.
Okay. See, you can get a 2358C. See, it's not about you. What difference does it make if you're a taxpayer or not? Here's my question. You're a taxpayer. Does the IRS have jurisdiction to charge you income taxes? Yes or no?
No.
Then it doesn't matter what you are. See, it's not about you. Let's take us out of the equation. Here's the question. Are you a taxpayer? I'm glad you asked. The real question is, do you have jurisdiction to charge me a tax? Yeah, we do. Great. Then it doesn't matter if I'm a taxpayer. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have any income?
What is income?
There you go. Okay. I can show it to you in black and white if you want to see it. Are you in front of a computer?
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
Okay. Title 31, Section 321. When you get there, just come back on and I'll let you read it. It defines it for us. We just don't know what it is.
While he's looking that up, the one thing that I couldn't find anymore, and it's probably still in Title 26, was the definition of U.S. citizen. Way, way, way back a long time ago. That was what started me sort of down this squirrel path, was understanding the true definition of U.S. citizen in the code. But I can't find it anymore. Is it gone? Or am I just
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter. It's not about you.
It's just more interesting than anything else.
Well, I don't care about that. Don't get confused. Here's what it's about. Does the IRS have jurisdiction to charge you a tax? That's all I want to know. If they say yes, then I make them or show it to me. If they don't, I object. Then I'm taking it to the next court. See, when I was indicted, they told me that they took 18 of us. My last name starts with a Z, so I was the last one. They took all 18 of them. They all went to jail. They got to me, and because of the way I think and the way I am, they were. Now, let me show you. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to ask you. I got to preface it so you know how to answer it. So you're going to have to listen so you can do the same. Okay, I'm going to ask you 4 quick questions. I want you to answer them yes or no. Do you understand me?
Yes. Are you back to me, or are we still the other gentleman?
I'm back
I don't want to jump in.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I understand.
Okay, now listen, I'm going to preface it. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. I need you to say yes or no. That way we can move forward. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Okay, are you a female?
I'm hesitant to answer because of the earlier one, but my initial response is yes.
Okay. Do you have a significant other?
Yes.
Do you have a dog?
Yes.
Do you live in a house?
Yes.
Now, preface it and ask me any 4 questions you want, and I'm going to show you what I did. Go ahead and ask me. But you got to preface it or I won't know how to answer it.
Do you have a next-door neighbor?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer it. You haven't asked me. Here's what you're going to do. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. I want you to answer them yes or no. You have to tell me how to answer it or I won't know how to answer it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 4 questions, and you have to answer yes or no. Do you understand?
Yes or no.
Got it.
See? Did I not do what you said?
You did exactly what I told you to do.
And I do exactly what they say. Do I have a next-door neighbor? Yes or no? See? It doesn't matter what you ask. I'm not gonna go into this and say, well, here's what I think you want me to say this, so I'm gonna say it. They're gonna ask me a question and I'm gonna answer. You gotta understand something. The 17 people that went to jail were there 45 minutes, an hour at the max. I was there 9.5 hours and they only got on question number 4. See?
Jurisdictional question.
Yes.
Can you challenge jurisdiction in the form of a letter, or do you need to be in the court?
Yes.
And I'm asking about the foreign registration statement.
Okay,
Can I send that in?
Okay. You can do it however you want to. This is your argument. This is just however you know it, whatever you know, that's how you do it. If you know how to do it with paper, do it with paper. If they don't answer you, just keep that. That way, if they pick you up and you end up in front of a judge, then you get your answers right then. See?
Well, I'm trying to challenge jurisdiction in the U.S. tax court, but because I've sent a petition in, they ordered me to pay the filing fee. I sent the petition back with the petition of the Supreme Court citation of law that says the petitioner shouldn't have to pay the fee.
Right. Okay. Now I want you to think about this for a minute. Did the court say to you, your case is dismissed for lack of jurisdiction because you didn't pay the filing fee? Did it say that?
For failure to pay the filing fee, yes. It said exactly that.
So I don't have jurisdiction, so you have to. I have no jurisdiction over you, but you have to send me $100. Do you see what they're saying? So what I would do is I would take exactly what they said. According to the judge, said they didn't have jurisdiction. How did they get jurisdiction to ask me to pay the filing fee and then send it back. I need a clarification. Motion for a motion for a clarification. That I am not an attorney. Here's what you said. See exhibit. You have to send it as exhibit.
Well, I sent an appeal back to the tax court saying I'm not an attorney. You said that you didn't have jurisdiction, that you were dismissing my case for lack of jurisdiction for failure to pay a filing fee.
Okay,
I do not understand. And then the second statement said, and I responded with the citation that says the Supreme Court says that no filing fee is required, and that was denied, and I do not understand. How can you have jurisdiction over me if I pay the filing fee and not have jurisdiction over me now? I don't understand. And they stamped on it and said denied and sent it back out. And they put closed at the top. And
that's
used
okay.
The same docket number they've used the last 3 or 4 times. But I've sent 4 letters now to the court, and each one is coming back denied. They are not answering it. They're just stamping it and dating it. So I want to know, can I send them a request to fill out a foreign registration statement so that they can prove they have jurisdiction over me?
Are you talking about the court?
Yeah.
The court, I don't know. I guess you could. I never did it, but go ahead and try it. Maybe you got a new way of a new angle here.
I don't know. I'm feeling like a tornado. Everybody around me's gotten a dismissal because of the IRS not having jurisdiction, but my dismissal's coming because I didn't pay the filing fee.
I understand that. So, what you said was you don't have jurisdiction, and the Supreme Court said I didn't have to pay it. I'm not an attorney.
Right.
Well, then you don't know. Then you don't know what they said. I try to stay away from anything like that. Because when you said, I'm not an attorney, and the Supreme Court said, so you just made a legal determination, they're probably not going to listen to it. That's just my opinion. I would go back and say, man, I'm confused. See? Help me out here. I'm not an attorney. You said you didn't have jurisdiction. Now you're telling me to pay the filing fee. That makes no sense to me. I need a clarification, and send it back. Now, have you ever heard of the old squeaky wheel gets the grease?
Oh yeah.
You've never seen anybody squeak like me. I squeak bad, and I don't never stop until they answer me. See, it costs you 50 cents to mail it. Is there a limit to how many letters I'm allowed to send in? I don't read that anywhere. I've been all over the U.S. Tax Court's website, and there's no limitation. But I understand that I want to stay on the judicial side of the house, right? I don't want to pay the filing fee and be on the administrative side. Right.
I want to stay on the judicial side where they don't have jurisdiction over me.
Well, the IRS doesn't have jurisdiction over anybody because it's voluntary.
Right.
But what they're doing is they're using the enforcement mechanism. They don't have it because you're not alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Right.
And so we have to figure out how to stay on the side that they face the fact that the E takes 7608, put it in there, and say they're trying to collect the debt under Title 27. Help me out here. See, in other words, use their own thing. 7608 says E enforcement only has jurisdiction in alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So if you got if you got something against you from the IRS, that means it came from the E. That's just the way it is. So they have no jurisdiction. So then you tell the court, according to Title 26, 7608, the people that put the tax on me don't have jurisdiction. Since you don't have jurisdiction, here's what I want. I want you to dismiss this for lack of jurisdiction because Title 27 has nothing to do with me. Try another angle on it. And see, just try another angle on it because you got to understand. If you don't understand, there's an A side and an E side.
I understand there's an A and an E, and I even had an interview with them, and both of them told me that they were A's, and that all of that crap didn't matter anymore about administrative and enforcement, and I was never going to get a revocation of election, and they could take my tax money, so they're levying. They sent my employer a notice of levy, and they're levying 77% of my paycheck, and the state is getting another 10% on top of that.
Check out our other videos and playlists. Republic of Texas RT documentary. Texas and other American states is under a military occupation. The Republic of Texas Forum of 2016. And describe the kind of people who would thrive in independent Texas. And so check them out.
Okay. Now, on the state, I can help. Well, we don't do it, but can you write this down?
Yeah.
Okay, Title 31, Section 3124, and Title 18, Section 8. There's your defense. There's your defense on the state.
Exemption from taxation and obligation or other security of the United States defined. Yes.
So if you have to, pull out all the stops. Go after the state.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Do I need to get a dismissal for lack of jurisdiction from the tax court in order to go to the district court and file criminal charges against the IRS agents?
Okay, here's the problem.
And I'm waiting on my FOIA to come back, and they told me they needed an extension until the 28th of November.
Well, here's the problem. The United States District Court has no jurisdiction over the IRS agents.
I know they don't unless there's been a crime committed. They monetized a notice of levy without due process. They monetized the notice of levy.
Okay, now, we sued the IRS for counterfeit securities. And so I know what a counterfeit security is. Do you know how much value a counterfeit security has on it?
25 to life.
That's exactly right. Here's what they're doing to the United States District Court. See, what's happening is the Federal Reserve is why we're having all this problems. See, now that, and I'm going to show you one of the questions, and I'll come back to you. The guy that looked up Title 31, Section 321, did you find it?
Sorry, that was me, and yes, I looked it up. And yes, I found it.
Title 31, Section 321, D as
General
in dog.
Authority of the Secretary. Yeah.
Okay, D as in dog, the number 2. Would you read that?
D2. D2 says, for purposes of the federal income, estate,
Stop right
and
there.
gift.
Stop right there. For the purposes of federal income. Don't you think that's important?
Yep, you got to know the definition of what the income is.
There you go. Go ahead and read it now.
So for the purposes of federal income, estate, and gift taxes, property accepted under paragraph 1 shall be considered as a gift or bequest to or for the use of the United States.
So tell me what income is.
Well, it's anything from alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, I believe, but I don't have the definition in front of me.
Okay, you just read it. Read it again.
That it's a gift. Is that what you mean?
There you go. A gift or a bequest. That's correct. Yeah. So on your W-2 or on your 1099, there is no place that says gift or bequest.
Yeah.
See, on the 1040 form it says salary, tips, etc. I made $9,000 etc. last year. See? So what in the world is et cetera?
I don't know.
I don't care. That's what it says. See, I don't take anything for granted. It says it, so I do it. In the tax, in the 1040 booklet, the instruction booklet on page 110, on the left-hand side, it states you have to file a return or statement. It's black and white. So what is a return? Can I ask you that?
I really don't know. I would think it would be their forms, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. You see, it doesn't say form. It says a return. So what is a return? Shit in a bag, wrap it up, and return it.
Yeah.
See, it says return or statement. What's a statement? Okay. Eat and die. Put it in an envelope and mail it back. That's what it says. I don't care what they mean. I can only do what they say. That's what it says in their own writing. See? But because we don't understand, now let me ask you another question. You must pay a tax return. You may pay a tax return. I'm sorry. You must file a tax return. You may file a tax return. Tell me what I said there. What's the differences in those two statements?
One's optional, one's required.
No. In Black's Law Dictionary, see, they've changed the language. Now you understand why I did a definitions page. I put may, and I defined it, as Black's Law says. See, I defined everything that I was going to need. That way when they ask me a question, see, now you know what they're doing. So that's what I did, and I went home that night. The rest of them didn't, because they would ask them a question, and they would go on, what's your first name? Well, my mother's name, my dad's name. See, I had name defined. Name is what you go by. So do you mind me asking you your first name?
Are you talking to me? My name is Janae. I don't know if you're talking to the other gentleman.
No, okay, now ask me my first name.
What's your first name?
Asshole. My wife calls me that all the time because that's what name is defined as, what you go by. That's what I go by at the house. See, you assumed I meant your birth name. That's not what they asked. Now I want you to think about this. I don't care about the year. When is your birth date? Just the month. Just give me the month. That's fine.
March.
Okay. When's your born date?
I don't know what you mean.
When were you born?
I was born in March.
See what you did? You said birth and born is the same thing. Look it up in Black's Law Dictionary. Birth is a process. Born is the event. That's what the law says. The law doesn't define it. So when you say, what's your birth date? I can't get a driver's license. They won't let me have them because I won't admit my birth date is in January. I tell them it's in March. That's my birth date. My born date's January. I took my birth certificate there and handed it to the judge. It says the day you were born. So that's my born date. See, I'm an idiot. That's how I can't help myself. I think outside the box. So I'm standing there, and the judge says, well, that ain't your born date. Well, really? Well, then the government lied. I want $1 million for lying to me because that's my certified birth certificate, and it says the day I was born. I said, well, Judge, if you do this, you give me an order that birth and born is the same thing. Do that for me. He said, well, you know I can't do that. I don't know anything. Why won't he do that? Because now that violates my First Amendment. I have a right. See, I have a right to freedom of religion. Some religions, the day you were born and the birth date and all that, it's all fancy. So my birth date I put as my conception date. And now when they come and got me, they said to me, "You lied to a cop." I said, "I didn't lie to the cop." I said, right here. It says born date. Well, if you'd have get them both, I said, he didn't ask for both. He asked for my birth date, so I gave it to him. but your birth date says it's not what it says. So what I'm trying to do is give you a way to think outside the box. See, when and just keep pushing it. That if you haven't gotten your court order yet, then go ahead and do another one. Start over. It's the squeaky wheel. Start completely over. Do another Form 2 and mail it in. And if last time you said never received a notice of deficiency, this time say they never received a notice of determination, never received a notice of deficiency. Just reverse them. That way they can't say they're the same. Does that make sense?
Thank Kerry.
Yes, sir.
That fellow that a while ago with had been writing all those letters to the judge, and he said that his last one came back was dismissed and closed.
Right.
If they closed that docket number, shouldn't he just do a new petition?
Well, he could, or he could just go back and say, how can you close it? You haven't answered it yet. Yeah. They can reopen it, or just go back and redo another Form 2. That would be fine. Then if he comes back and says that they say it's a duplicate, it can't be a duplicate because the one's closed and the other one wasn't.
Right.
In other words, I don't know. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So what are you going to do to be the squeaky wheel? That's what needs to happen.
I got another question around that.
Sure. Okay.
So this petition, this letter from them comes back, and it's a copy of the first page of my appeal, and they filled in the docket number from the previous cases, and then there is in all capital letters in the center of the next page where they stamp denied on it, it says petitioner's motion to vacate has been dismissed.
Okay.
Well, I didn't ask for the motion to be vacated.
There you go. Then you go back and say, I'm confused. You said vacate. Show me the vacate and show me the vacate motion. I didn't do it. See? Now you got a controversy. Make them do their job. Come back and say, I didn't vacate it. I told you to do blank. See?
Okay.
See?
I just need to get some letters together and just send one about every 3 or 4 days because they're turning them around quickly. They're not sitting on them. They're getting in there. They're in there for less than 5 days, and then they've made a declaration of some sort, and they're turning around and sending it right back.
Then there you go. Use what they say and go back. You said, okay. I got a motion to vacate. I want to see it because I didn't write it.
I didn't write a motion to vacate.
There you go.
So should I send them a petition around this notice of levy, or do I need to go to the U.S. District Court, or should I wait on the return of my FOIA request?
On your levy,
I requested that they filled out an SFR, and was there actually a federal lien on me somewhere or a levy?
A lien doesn't hurt you as bad as a levy. Yeah, a lien doesn't hurt you as bad as a levy. A levy, they send it to your company. Now,
well, they did send it to the company.
Right. What I would do is I would go to the company and say, I want to see what they gave you.
I got a copy of it. It's a notice of levy.
That's right. There's your deal. Then what I would do is I would file a lawsuit against the IRS company in district court, stating that what they're doing is they're breaking the law by using counterfeit securities. A counterfeit security is a notice of levy. A levy is fine. If you give me a levy, that would be fine. They can't give you one because they don't do the proper paperwork. That's right. They do a notice. See, so they're using a counterfeit security. Now, I want you to think about this. You and I go to a bank and we rob the bank. You take a 50 caliber, fully automatic, 50 caliber Barrett. I go in there with a hammer. Which one of us goes to jail?
Both of us. We went to rob the bank.
No. You're the only one that's got an illegal firearm. Why would I go to jail? I got a hammer.
Okay.
See? You're correct. It isn't the hammer, and it isn't the gun. It's the act of robbing. That's what they've done. We have to be able to departmentalize that. Why do you think because they're using a notice as a notice of levy as a levy. That's a counterfeit security. That's illegal. There's your argument. I don't care about well, you didn't file. It doesn't matter if I filed a tax return or not. You cannot use a counterfeit security against me. And that's what they're doing.
Well, but the thing is that my employer, is the moving target. So should I take the lawsuit out on them? Or,
well, if you do that, they'll fire you.
I know.
See? So we're trying to get something.
And I need a couple of $100 every couple of weeks right now.
Right. And so what we're trying to do is give you an argument that you can put together, and you can go to the tax court, go to the tax court and say, I'm coming to the tax court, and here's what they did. I never got a notice of a deficiency. I never got a notice of determination. They're using a counterfeit security because they're using a notice of levy, and they're damaging me, and they go to the tax court with it. See what the tax court
Well, I put that in my appeal, but they didn't give a crap about that.
Well, what are you appealing, first of all?
I'm appealing their order to. I was appealing their order to deny my motion.
Okay. When you did your appeal, who did you appeal it to?
The IRS commissioner.
Okay, that's okay.
Tax court.
Appeal it back to the tax court. What you do is do a notice of appeal. Give it to the tax court. The tax court will then say, okay, from here's where we appeal. Every court has an appellate court. So in other words, if the tax court's appeal is in New Orleans, Federal District 12, that's where you got to go. So by you going to the commissioner, all you're doing is doing an appeal to the commissioner. The commissioner can't help you. So do a notice of appeal. Send it to the tax court. The tax court will then say, okay, here's where it goes. They're going to give you...
the tax court the respondent, or just send it to the tax court?
Okay, you're going to do an appeal. You're going to appeal the tax court. So you send it to the tax court. Notice of appeal. Then what they will do is they will send you a package in the mail, and it's going to say, let me use the example that I had, bankruptcy that I had to file to finagle all of this. I appealed the bankruptcy to the bankruptcy. A week later in the mail, I got a package saying, here's your docket number. You're going to see Judge whomever, and it's courtroom number 2 at this address. So they told me, because every court has its own defense.
So when I send the appeal back to the U.S. tax court, I don't fill it out like I'm the petitioner and the IRS commissioner is the respondent. I fill it out that I'm the petitioner and the U.S. tax court is the respondent.
No, you do a notice of appeal. I am going to appeal docket number so-and-so. And you send it back. That's all it has to say.
Oh, okay.
Then when they get it, they're going to tell you. You may end up going to Alaska. That court may have Alaska as its appellate court. In other words, every court has its appellate court. I don't know which one it is. So you'll do a notice of appeal your name as a petitioner, the tax, you're going to appeal the decision the tax court made. Sign it and send it in. Then what they'll do is they will assign you to the court. Now you do what you just did. There you go. Now you know who the appellate court is, the judge, how long you have, how many words you can put on a page, how many pages it has to be, what it has to say. They're going to give you the whole package. But you don't know who to see. So what you're saying is I'm objecting to the tax court by going to the commissioner. That doesn't make him any difference. Okay, I'm going to appeal that my wife beat me up last night, and I'm going to appeal it to you. What do you care?
Okay.
See? So what you have to do, that's exactly right. And see, they don't either. So what you want is, if you need to, get with Ed, and I'll send you a notice of appeal. It's one page. And then once you get that there, you'll understand it when you see it. You put on it, notice of appeal. That's all you're doing. You're noticing them. You're going to appeal. Docket number so-and-so. And you send it to the tax court. The tax court will then say, okay, our appellate court is District 12. That's out of New Orleans. And then you go to this court, or whatever it is, or out of Los Angeles, or whatever. I don't know where it's at. See, then when you do your appeal, they'll look at it. They have to, because that's what they do.
Okay. I don't know how to get in touch with Ed.
How did you know about this call tonight?
I got an email from a friend.
Okay, on that email is Ed's emails on
my
it.
email's on that. My email's on that flyer. Down close to the bottom.
Let me check. I'm opening it back up. Let me check it.
Okay, quick. Now let me ask you a question. I want you. Are you married?
I am not.
Okay. What is your mother's favorite flower? Do you know?
I do.
Is it?
It's a gardenia.
Really? My mother's favorite flower is gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
Self-rising. No,
Gotcha.
no. You see what's happening? See, I asked you a question, and you immediately knew what I was talking about. You had no idea.
I had no idea.
That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm trying to show. Now, let me show you another one. What size of shoes do you wear, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I don't know. How are they sized?
Okay. I want the American size.
Well, I've tried on a 12. They work pretty good, but sometimes an 11 will do okay. To find size.
See? There you go. You see? Because, first of all, the word wear means you can put your foot in it. So I wear a 10,
right.
11, or a 12. A 13 feels so darn good, I buy 14s. My question is, can I go? Yeah, they're not comfortable. But see, that's where they get in. That's how they get frustrated with me. They ask me a question that has a horizon of answers. They're hoping you pick the one that they want. I won't do that. See, when I asked you what your mother's favorite flower was, gardenias. Really? I was talking about baking flour. See, you didn't ask. I asked. That's right. And so that's really good. What kind of bread does she make with that? See, all I'm trying to do is get you a different way to decide. Quit thinking. A friend of mine used to say, he has stinking thinking. Quit having stinking thinking. Make it to where it's more difficult for them. They can come to my house, kick the door down, and shoot me. I can't stop that. But when I summons, I sit down and I have my glossary page and I pass it out. They will not use it. Now I got them. Because here's my question. Do you know what a humidor is? Okay, let me help you.
I think I do, but you need to define what you think a humidor is.
It doesn't matter what I think it is. It's what it is. See? Okay, it's a box that keeps cigars at the right temperature and the right moisture. Now, my question to you is, do you smoke?
No.
Okay. Do you know what a Cuban is?
I do.
What is it?
A person who lives in Cuba.
Exactly. See, what I was trying to do is by dangling in front of you the humidor, the cigar. See, because once you said it's a cigar, then I would have said, no, it's not. It's a sex toy because of Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. No, you see, I never let. Okay, so what I try to do is, do you know what a Cuban is? No, I do not. Not a clue. See, once I define it for you, okay, no problem. And so what I'm trying to do is just get you outside of your regular thinking pattern and see what happens when the IRS summons you. There's two kinds of people. Those that already got problems and those that are going to have problems. So we're trying to get you out of those that have problems. We're trying to get you out. And those that don't have problems, we're going to try to keep you from having problems. See what I'm saying?
Well, I'd like to be free of some problems right now.
Right.
And have my whole stinking check back.
Right. And then when you get your whole check back, once we get it back, I'll show you how to get
I'm going to send you some money as a tithe because you spiritually fed me. And if you were standing in front of me right this minute, I would put both of my hands together and get down on one knee. I would be so blessed if a federal judge called me and asked me what the hell was going on.
Yeah, he did, and I thought it was funny. And so now, see, now where the problem
You got their attention.
I don't care. You know, I'm not doing this for attention. I'm doing this because I know you.
I know. I know that, but I do know that you want to shake them up in their boots, and you are definitely doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Carrie.
Thank
you.
I have to go, but I'd like to tell you about a success.
Please do.
And it's long coming, but I sent my a declaration and testimony to 10 respondents along with my, court order and the letter from the attorney. And I didn't hear, and this was for a current lien for $28,000, but for 2003 and 2005. So last week, I had 10 respondents, plus I sent it also to the 3 credit bureaus.
Good.
And with the same document, and it was a pretty thorough document, and I put in there if they didn't respond within a certain amount of days that they were participating in trafficking dependence person to multiple offshore revenue trusts. I heard nothing for 3.5 months, but last week I got a check, and I haven't seen a check in, maybe since 2006. But anyway, on the document, I listed all the liens, the amounts, the dates, and there were about 19 of them. But I got a check from the United States Treasury, like a Social Security check, for Kansas City, Missouri, but on the bottom it said Ogden, Utah, and it was for 2003, and they gave me a tax refund of $354. So they've already collected $21,000 for 2003, and the lien was only for $8,000. So I'm assuming that they're done with the lien, and that the next check I'll probably, hopefully, get the entire amount of my check.
Great for you. That's wonderful.
Do you think that's
very possible? Yeah, I don't second guess him on anything. See, but very good. I'm happy for you. Thank you for that. It does my heart good to hear that you stuck with it, and I hope I helped you in that a little bit. I don't know if I did, but I hope so.
Oh, certainly, yes. And
well, thank you for allowing me to do it.
I think it's really important to have a good document, because
yes.
for later on, it's all there, and you can just use it over and over. You don't have to go back and try to find,
right.
this and this. But anyway, is there any way I can get a complete record of what they have taken? I mean,
I'm sure you can through a FOIA. You probably can through a FOIA, but I don't know. I'm not sure how you do it through the FOIA, because I've never done a FOIA. I've never done one.
Why couldn't I get it from the IRS?
That's what I mean. Do a FOIA to the IRS. I don't know how to do that. That's not my expertise.
If you go to FAMGuard, FAM guard.com, they have some FOIA information on that website for the Internal Revenue Service.
FAMGuard.com.
I'm sorry, what was? Can you spell it?
It's like Fam Guardian, Famila Guardian. So it's famguard.net, I believe. You can Google Family Guardian, and it'll give you their website. They've got great FOIA documentation for the Internal Revenue Service.
Thank you. And Carrie?
Yes?
If I do get that lien released, and it's been, the current one it's been for 3 years, and I'm dying here because they're taking $1,000 a month.
Well, what they did to me is they put a $25,000 lien against me, and they took $350,000 away from my wife.
But I forgot what I was gonna ask. Can I contact you if they release the lien? Can I contact you on how to start collecting what they have taken?
Yeah. You can go through Ed. Ed knows how to get a hold of me, and his email address is on that document that got you on this thing tonight. Yeah,
I have that. I think I've contacted you before.
Then that's all that matters. If you got that, you can get a hold of me. You get a hold of him, he'll get a hold of me. That's no problem. We're not here to hide. We're here to try to help the best we can. Me and Ed are just a couple of guys, and I have a full-time job, so I get 60 calls a day. And people call me and they don't leave me a message, so I just don't call them back. If you leave me a message, I'll call you back. So if anybody calls, and what?
Because of Carrie, I got a full-time job.
Well, that's Ed's fault. I told Ed, you want to quit? He said, well, yeah. But we're trying. Me and Ed's trying to do here is give you guys information. We're trying to show you. We're trying to show you a different way to think, and how a different way to approach this. See, now if they're and the IRS is I call them the Antichrist, because the Antichrist does the same thing. You do what I say, or you won't eat. You do what I say, or I'll kill you. You do what I say, or I'll take your money, and you'll do what I say. See, their whole attitude is just like the Antichrist.
For the person who mentioned the Fam Guardian website, by the way, it doesn't look like it's loading anymore. It's famguardian.org, but it doesn't look like it's functioning.
Well, maybe it's .org.
Right, it is .org, or .net doesn't come up. so I don't know. It's just not working.
.com. I don't know. I used to go on that all the time. So I used to go on that all the time and read their stuff.
Okay, maybe it is .com. It says The Guardian. Is that the title of it? Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I wasn't the one that gave it to you. But I've been on their thing, and it's
famguardian.org, and my page loaded up.
That's fine. Weird. It's totally not loading for me. I'll try it again. Thank you.
And there's a little whistle or light that's flashing. There's like a little alarm light that's going around the taxation piece.
It could be that I'm on VPN with my work on my computer, so I'll try it when I'm offline.
You're getting blocked. Work's going to block.
Yeah, that's fine. Great. Thank you.
Our blog is texasrepublic.wordpress.com. Our website is thetexasrepublic.com. Our email address is oneyellowroseenterprises@gmail.com. Our YouTube profile is, this is the link because YouTube doesn't allow us to have a customized URL until we have over a certain number of subscribers. And follow us on Twitter at Texas Republic for You and at We Are Texians.
Hey, Kerry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a success that I want to report, and I want to thank you. I did everything you said, and it all worked out.
Wow, good for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want I don't care about I don't care that I get credit for it because that's not what I'm doing this for. But thank you for sharing it with us.
Well, yeah, you sounded like you wanted to know about the successes, and
I do.
I got it early in the summer. I haven't been on a phone call for a while, and I had to do another Form 2 with an amendment, and I did everything you said, and I put down you didn't send me a notice of deficiency or determination, and they came right back and no jurisdiction, but at the bottom of the page, they put down, if you ever bother us with something frivolous, we'll charge you a $30,000 fine or whatever. But that was in real small print at the bottom of the page. The main thing that I wanted was what was in the body of the paragraph, no jurisdiction.
Exactly. There you go. Now that they didn't have jurisdiction, you can do anything with that you want. Get a certified copy of it and take it to the county. If the county doesn't release it, then they're going to say, well, we have to do what the IRS says. I agree with you. What did they say? See, then they won't tell you. Well, they didn't tell us nothing. We got a phone call. And that's how I stopped the bank, because the bank admitted they didn't get anything. They got a phone call. I have a court order. What's more important? What's more powerful, a court order or a phone call from somebody you don't even know? So what ends up happening is, see, the bank, when they got deep pockets, and they got the ability to pay you back. So, that's the problem. If the Social Security, we went after the Social Security, and the Social Security said, well, we didn't do it. We got a call from Mark at this address. We looked it up on the internet, and it wasn't even an IRS agent. Well, it was, but they were using that wasn't on a published IRS office. It was unpublished, apparently. So we went through them, and we got his release. That's what I'm saying. Just weird stuff is happening.
Yeah, recently I started an LLC, and I applied for an EIN for banking purposes, and they refused to give it to me. So I don't know if it's connected to, what I just did through the tax court, or they're just, being funny.
Well, it's not funny to me anymore, but I have an EIN number 2 also, and that's what I use. But I don't know. I don't know a lot about a lot of things, but I understand once you get the court order what they can and cannot do. I got 6 letters yesterday for the first time in years. I got 6 CP 504s. I took them.
Wow.
Well, I downloaded my court order, put them in there, and mailed them all back to them. They didn't say a word to them, just sent it to them. See, they overwhelmed you. they're going to start coming after me now, though, because I figured after talking to that judge, they're irritated pretty much. They're pretty much irritated.
Well, good luck with that. I wish you the best. And you think outside the box, so I know you'll handle it.
I'll handle it the best I can. I mean, the worst thing they can do is kill me, and guess what? Oh well. I mean,
one more question.
Yep. One more question. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yes.
Sorry, for me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I wasn't sure you were responding to me. Sorry.
I am.
What if you unfortunately paid the $60 because I wasn't aware of another way to do it when I did it, and I have a pending court date in a few months?
That's what they did. See,
is there any way
that's what they're doing.
That?
Well, the reason they gave you a pending court date because that's the administrative side. See, you're going to go to court now, and you're going to go to court, and you're not going to have a whole lot of stuff. But what you're going to try to do is download the Title 26 7608. If you have to go to court, you're going to ask them, are you an E or an A? They're going to have to be an E, or there's an E there in the room somewhere, and that's the CID agent. Then you've got, well, they don't have jurisdiction because of this, and I can help you with some things, give you some arguments, and get you outside the box where they get frustrated. And then, but where the problem comes when you pay the $60, see, you're going to have to go to court because now they're going to say, well, you owe $1 million. As soon as you pay that, then we can hear it. See, now they're going to come and throw and they're going to confuse you the hard as they can. They're going to try to confuse you. They're going to try to say, they're going to ask you, and I'll ask you what they would ask you. Do you work?
No.
Have you worked in the past?
Yes.
Have you made any money in your lifetime?
Yes. Well, fiat
money. You see what you just did? First of all, work. I don't know. Define work.
Okay.
See? Now, have you worked in the past? I don't know. Do you make money? I'm trying to. I bought the printer and I bought the program, but I can't find the paper. See? Because if they don't... okay. Now, let me show you what I'm trying to say. Are you married?
No.
Okay. Let's say you start dating a fella, okay? Mm-hmm. First date, he reaches under your shirt, and you say no. What does that mean?
No.
Okay, so I'm using your words now. No means no, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you and him get along just fine. You fall in love with him. You think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. On your wedding night, you look out the window, and you can see in the lady's house next door. He's with her. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
No, it's your fault. You said no means no. If he wants any action, don't he have to go there? You see? Just an innocent no. You said no. You know what no really means? Not right now. See? No. See, that's a different way of thinking. Because once you get married, the last thing you want is your old man next door with the woman next door. See? But that's what you told him. No means no. So if he wants any action at all, doesn't he think about it? Wouldn't he have to go next door? Unless you lifted it. And most women, they're not going to think about that. They're going to think, well, you're an SOB. First night, you're already out there running around like that. See? Me, that's the way I think. That's just the way I think. See?
Well, tie that back to what you're...
What?
How does that correspond with what...
Okay.
What you're trying to
okay. Okay. I asked you, did you work? You said yes. Not now. But you did work and you made money. Now, how did you make money? What is money? I'm going to ask you a question. Then tell me, what is money? You said you made some, so what is it?
Well, in exchange for your labor, something you can go and spend.
Okay. That's not true. Are you in front of a computer?
An iPad, yeah.
Okay, that'll be perfect. After I show you this, I'm going to let you read it. Would you please go online and put in modern money mechanics? And I'm going to let you read what money is, how it's defined in Congress.
Okay.
See, I make sure I understand what we're doing. That's why I do my glossary page. I define everything on the glossary page. Go ahead.
There's one under Wikimedia Commons. Would that be a place to go?
I don't know. I just put in modern money mechanics and it should pop up. It's gonna. Okay, call it up. It's about 55 pages. I'm gonna pick out one page and show you.
The first one is a workbook on bank reserves and deposits.
Modern money work. That's exactly the one you want. The workbook on reserves and deposits. That's it.
Okay.
Go to page 3, please.
Okay, sorry, I'm on a Wi-Fi, so.
That's okay.
I mean a portable one.
That's okay.
Almost there. The blue line. Okay. I'm on page 3.
Okay, do you see where it says who creates money?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second sentence sentence says the actual process. Do you see that?
I see it, but I do understand that they're just printing it out of nothing.
Nope. Okay. We're gonna define money. They print it. So read that sentence. The actual process.
The major control, however, rests with the central bank. The actual process of money creation takes place primarily in banks. As noted earlier, checkable liabilities of banks are money.
Stop right there. Read that again, please.
Checkable liabilities of banks are money.
Now, you made checkable liabilities of a bank? You're telling me you made those? What? See? That's what it says. I could care less. That's my argument right there. Well, I didn't make any money. You didn't make? No, sir. I don't have any checkable liabilities. So the problem they're having is, see, there's no definitions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's what it. No. What does it say? Okay, the checkable liabilities of banks are money.
Right.
So if you have $1 in your pocket, that's your checkable liability. It ain't money. See?
Right.
That's what it says.
So I've made no money.
There you go. See?
Which brings me to a point. I was listening the last few days. I've listened to a few of the videos or conference calls, and one of them, a gentleman was saying on the phone that he's going to go back and redo the past 3 years' returns and put 0.
Okay.
And I'm a little, I guess I'm trying to put together what I heard on that call and what you just said earlier on this call about, let me go back to my note, about the alcohol, firearms, tobacco, whatever. Mm-hmm. So does that mean they only have jurisdiction over that regardless if you're a person or people or a person, what they call a person,
or a company, or a corporation, or an LLC? Yes.
And one thing I'm confused about, I did maybe for 5 weeks work as an independent contractor for somebody who was representing FEMA. So
and they gave you checkable liabilities of the bank. Is that what they gave you?
No, but I guess my question is, so I wasn't a federal employee if I was an independent contractor.
Okay. Now wait a minute. It doesn't say you have to be a federal employee. It says you have to pay taxes on your money. A federal employee does not receive checkable liabilities of a bank. They don't get that. They get a check from the company. In other words, if you work for FEMA, you get a check from FEMA. See? You get a check from Exxon. You get or you get a check from whatever. Here, we're going to give you a case of wine. That's still not checkable. So I went to the bank and told the bank, I need some checkable liabilities of this bank. They looked at me like I was a lunatic. I said, well, come on now. The government said I could come in here and ask you for them. Boy, I'll tell you what, they're looking at me like, what is wrong with you? I said, well, I've been smoking some really good reefer. Do you want some? See, what I'm trying to tell you is I don't care what they say it is. What does the law, what did Congress and the Federal Reserve say it is? See, that's what I use.
So I guess, and I know I've heard you say that, so none of it matters about who you are or what you, what you are. It's all about how they've written things and how they're deceiving.
There you go. That's correct.
So whether you're a corporation or whether you're a person or a people or what they call a U.S. citizen or a federal employee, I guess I'm a little confused on that, the federal employee thing. I heard Anna say you have to pay taxes if you're a federal employee,
me and Anna disagree. Me and Anna disagree on a few things. Now, what I'm telling you is this, okay? You pay taxes on money. That's what you have to pay taxes on. The problem is nobody has any. See?
Okay. Have you done that and had success with that?
I haven't filed a tax return since 1988.
Holy moly.
They indicted me for it. I also wrote a book, and that's what they indicted me for. Because in the book, what I do is I try to go through it. Now, I'm going to use your definition. You said it's something you use to exchange, correct?
Yes, for your labor in exchange for something.
Okay, great. No problem. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to let you work for me, and then I'm going to let you do a lap dance. I'll exchange that for the work. Wouldn't that fall into your definition?
If I agreed to it.
Well, you see, you did. Now you're changing your story.
I didn't. I got it. So I have to define it.
Terry?
Yes.
Oh, you could hear me.
Yes.
Hi, you could continue. I just want to share something with you.
All right. Go ahead.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you loud. I mean, really loud.
Great. Thank you. Good. I wanted to share that I got the order and I put it into the case. It's a foreclosure case. And what I noticed Monday, they changed, they took our names off the case and put John Doe.
See?
So I just want to know, what are your thoughts?
Well.
And also they want to dispose evidence. There's a notice of dispose of evidence that was filed by the clerk.
See? Now what? See, the reason they're foreclosing on you is because of the IRS. They don't have jurisdiction. Now they've got to bring John Doe in. See?
And the dispose of evidence, that's what they gave a notice of. That's what they're going to do.
Okay. Well, I don't know what they'll do until they do it. When they do it, you can get a hold of me and I'll help you do a strategy. That lady that was just on here earlier, you don't have to go yet. That lady that was on here earlier that talked to me and I told you what money was, are you still on here?
Yes.
Okay. I had a thought I was going to say. Now I dropped my thought. Man, I hate this getting old. It's crazy. Okay. Do you see why I think the way I think, and do you see why I do the way I do it?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to show you what I did the other day, just to see how people think. I went to a place and bought a hamburger, French fries, and a Coke. Now I'm going to ask you what she asked me, and I want you to give me an answer. Okay. Do you want this for here or to go? What would you say?
What's this?
What?
Are you talking about your hamburger? Do you want your hamburger, French fries, and Coke to go? Yes.
No, I'm asking. No, you bought that. So I said to you, do you want your hamburger, French fries, and Coke? Do you want it for here or to go? What would you say?
To go.
See? Now ask me the same question.
Would you like your hamburger, french fries, and Coke to go or for here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm confused.
Because it's either. You're saying yes to either because she's asking you one or the other, right?
Oh.
One or the other. Is there a third option? That's what I said to her. I said, well, is there a third option? No. Oh. Well, now. So I stood and I said, well, now I'm confused. You said for here or to go. I assume there's a third option because, yes, I want it for here or I want it to go. Yes. That's a fact. Do you see? Now, so she called her manager over there and says, sir, we don't understand. I said, okay. Then if I was you, I would put it in a bag and put it on a crate and slide it to me. Now I got both. See? You see how simple that is? People can't think out of a bag. But do you see how what you said money is? Do you know what money is now?
Yes, checkable liability.
Nope.
Of the bank.
There you go. See? That's what it says.
Never heard of before.
That's right. See? Do you know what federal income is now?
I guess it's checkable liability of the bank.
No. We read it earlier. Title 31, Section 321.
Gift. Yeah.
There you go. See?
No, that's the other gal saying yes. So what's the answer to that?
It's a gift. So when you go to work and you put in 8 hours and they write you a check, and they give you cash, is that a gift? I earned mine, so no, I don't think it is. I earned mine.
No, it's earnings to me. I was thinking of
So unless they define it for me, I can't. That's the problem that we're having. It has to be defined because
nowhere in the code they've defined money as anything other than this on this website. I mean.
No, that's the Federal Reserve Bank. That's the Federal Reserve telling you what it is.
Okay.
That's the Federal Reserve telling you what it is. See?
Wow.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you there's alternatives here. Anyways, Ed's probably getting tired, and I just don't. I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore you guys anymore.
Yeah, you're not.
Terry, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything.
It's no problem.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here, and thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Gary. Carrie. I'm sorry, Carrie.
Yeah, that's okay. What's that?